Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Dsngsbyrc, and today I'm bringing you guys a quick tutorial on how to create dynamic lighting in Photoshop. So let's get straight to it. For the first step of this, you're gonna want to create some shadows. Obviously, since the lighting is coming from the top left of the screen, mostly like the bottom right. A bit of that bottom right side is going to be a lot darker. So what I did first is added some levels. So all you got to do for that is go right here to the half circle, click on levels, and then play around with it, because not every image is going to be super dark. Some images might be a little lighter than others, so you just have to work with what type of background you're using. So for this example, I'm using just a darker background, so I have to darken them up some. So you just mess around with these sliders. You move this this far left point towards the middle. I'd say around, for this example, I'm doing like 50, and then you have to move this white point right here, so it makes it just smoother, a lot darker. So I'd say like, I think right there looks good, and all you would do is just press Command I to invert the mask, and then go back in and paint in with a low flow, zero hardness brush. Paint in where you want your shadows. So as I said, I'm gonna paint in some shadows over here on the right side, bottom right side, on the bottom right and on the right side. So I'll just paint in some right here, paint in some right here. Just paint in where like there's not gonna be like a lot of light hitting. So I'd say right down here, and probably some under the chin right here, and some on this right side right here too. Let me see. Yeah. So yeah, I did some on the bottom where his beard's at, on that right side of his face. Painting a lot darker, since there's not gonna be pretty much no light hitting this side of his face. Maybe bring up the flow a little bit so you can get it right. Okay, so that's gonna be it for the levels. As you can see, pretty much the same thing on the one I just recreated. So go ahead and delete this one, and then we're gonna go over the next step is adding even more shadows, but this time it's gonna be with exposure. So the same thing, you're gonna go to the half circle, click exposure, go down your exposure. For this one, I'm doing like -2. I think -2 is pretty good right there. And then I also invert the mask, and then paint in again over those darker spots. For this exposure layer, I painted in a lot more where it's gonna be a lot darker. So down here, and then on like this side of his face, of his beard and stuff, I painted in darker on this side. That's what I use this exposure for. So yeah. Next step is we're gonna want to add some highlights. So same thing. Click on exposure, and then bring up your exposure to, I think I had it like at 1.8 I think, and click Command I, get your brush again. It's gonna be the same type of brush for pretty much all of the highlights, unless you want to bring it up sometimes. But yeah, you're gonna want to add highlights where the light is hitting. So the light is coming from this side right here. It's coming down from the top left to the top right. So we're gonna add some brighter highlights to this side of his face, to this side right here where his neck is at, and then some right here, maybe some right here too. And then also there's gonna be some light hitting right here, so not like a lot, but you can add a little bit of highlights right here too. I mean, you really gotta see where the light is hitting from, because there's some pictures where you can see where light hits from. If you see like a realistic picture of like a setting kind of like this, where there's a dark background and just light hitting from one place, like an actual picture, you can see that light bounces off like these spots right here. Even in this picture right here, you can see where the light bounces off of. In the original picture, the light is bouncing off of, well, it's probably coming from the top side right here, and it's bouncing off of like his nose, his forehead right here, a little bit on his lip. You can do something like that. A little more right here, you know, because that's where the lighting is coming from this side too. So go like that. Yep. And then obviously right here his neck is gonna be brighter too. Okay, now for the next step of this tutorial is gonna be adding some color balance. So this is gonna be just to bring in that color of the light that is hitting. So you're gonna want to do the same thing as you did with the exposure. So just where you can see where the light is gonna bounce off of, or like where the light is gonna hit, you're gonna want to paint it with your brush. So some right here on the edges right here, maybe some more on his chin, on his lip, on his nose, of course, forehead, hair, and then a bit on this right side. Not too much on this right side, because not a lot hits on this side. Yeah, not a lot of this green is gonna be hitting like his ear right here. So it's mostly gonna be right here, the neck of his neck, and this part of the jersey. So yeah. And again, same type of brush, low flow and zero hardness. Close to the final step, what I like doing is, first as images, I like brightening up his eyes. You know, I think it makes it look cool. So you just get an exposure layer. Yeah, so you just get an exposure layer, bring it up pretty bright. Click Command I to invert it. Make your brush a little smaller and just paint in his eyes to make them brighter. I feel like that's a cool addition to do to some designs, you know, making eyes a little brighter. So for almost the final step is gonna be adding the main highlights. So we already added some highlights with the green, with the color balance. So, but now we're gonna do some highlights with hue and saturation. So for these highlights, you go back to the half circle, click hue and saturation, clip it to your player, of course. All these are going to be clipped to the player. You're going to want to click colorize, and then try to match closest to the green, to the color that you're trying to get to. And then face highlights are going to be the brightest highlights, so you're going to want to bring up your lightness. Not too much, maybe, yeah, like there. I think that's good. And then invert your mask, and then same thing but a little more intense. So it's gonna be a bigger brush. Maybe lower than your flow some more to around 4. And then we're gonna add some highlights again to where the light where the light is mainly gonna bounce off of. So yeah, for the final step of adding highlights, you're gonna want to add some haze, because that makes it look cooler, and just a lot more realistic also. So I will just get close to that color, maybe here, and then I make it a little darker, not like super bright, make it darker, and then hit linear dodge add, and then invert your mask. You want to add a little bit, not too much, maybe just a tiny bit. Well, not, yeah, but just not too much. Just don't go too crazy with this, because it kind of, it does too much sometimes, you know. Add some haze, gives it just a realistic type of vibe to it, to the highlights. Okay, now so for the final step of this is gonna be adding some camera raw filter, just to make some colors pop and stuff. So create a new layer, go to image, apply image, press OK, go to camera raw. You can go here to color and hit browse, and look through, go through these modern colors. Some of these give it a really cool vibe. So this one looks really cool. Modern 8, modern 6. I'd regularly recommend for these types of ones. You can do modern 4. Yeah, for like a darker type of thing, you can do modern 4. Maybe modern 7 if you just lower down the intensity some. But for the example, we're gonna go with modern 4. And I'm gonna mess around with these sliders, try to make it look all cool and stuff. And yeah. As you can see, it makes a big difference. This is what it was before, and this is what it is after. And all of these steps can be used with whatever you're trying to do. So if you're trying to do maybe a brighter one, trying to add some cool highlights and stuff to like maybe like a sunset background or like a lighter type of background, again, use main ones you're gonna want to use is color balance, so you can match it to the scene. And obviously your highlights that you're gonna want to do. And more importantly is gonna be the haze, because it makes it look a lot more realistic. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. As I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something from this video. If you have any questions, comment them down below, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good day, and God bless you all.